Hi everyone, and welcome to my Blender tutorial series where I model low poly Sly Cooper in 3D. In this first episode we are going to focus on modeling the character's head. The first thing I do is add reference images of the character. I use one image from the front view and another from the side view. These images will help us to maintain proportions and details during the modeling process. Next, I add a cube as the base for the head. Before jumping into full modeling, I use the loop cut tool to cut the cube into half and delete one side. With half the cube selected, I add a mirror modifier in the modifiers tab. I make sure to enable clipping so the two sides of the mesh stay connected while modeling process. Now that everything is ready, we can start modeling the head. This time I decide to begin by modeling the character's mask. Modeling in this stage is mostly about using extraction, loop cuts, and then scaling, moving and rotating the faces. And here are the most commonly used shortcuts keys for this process. Once I have the basic shape of the mask, I use the extrude tool to pull geometry down and start forming the head volume. At this point I switch to the side view and carefully adjust the vertices to match the shape of the head in the reference image. When the head shape is roughed out, I select the front faces and use extrude again to start forming the snout. To add more details and control over the shape, I use the knife tool to create additional edges around the lower part of the head. Next, I continue adjusting the topology by sliding edges, scaling part of the mesh, and keeping eye on the silhouette from both the front and the side view. At this point, the head is starting to take shape. Now that the basic head shape is ready, I move on to modeling the ears. This part of the process also involves using extrusion along with scaling, moving and rotating the faces to shape them properly. Once the low poly model of Sly head is complete, I move on to modeling his head. To do this, I add a new cube to the scene, and just like before, I start shaping it by adjusting the vertices to match the reference images. Alright, the low poly model of Sly Cooper head is now finished. We have built the basic shape, added key elements like the mask, snout, ears and head, and keep everything clean and optimized for the future steps. In the next episode, we'll continue with the body modeling. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, subscribe and leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.